Thank you, Matthew. It's nice to be back. We can start with the V8 Utes, and it's the start of a new season. But, Greg, things haven't changed. We've already lost 2 cars from a crash yesterday. We're down to 30. But David Cedars is on pole, and there's been a bit of drama in terms of qualifying. Nathan Pretty was actually the fastest qualifier.
Yeah, he was. 14 cars, Noons. Over the curb, down at turn 2. Used a little bit too much track and have had their times invalidated. So we've got a bit of a mix-up from what actually happened in qualifying. A lot of different times, a lot of guys moving up and down, depending on where they were at that time before they got their time taken off them.
So they lost their fastest time, but they were able to bank their second fastest. So it puts David Cedars on pole. 4th straight pole. He took the last 3 last year. He's got the first one this season. New line in car with Elliot Barber. He's one of the drivers to have made a change this year. He's swapped it around. There's so many guys who've shuffled from Holden to Ford, Ford to Holden. Andrew Fisher stayed on board a Falcon. He's still behind the wheel of the number 9 Jesus Racing Falcon. He is right in the mix as well. We'll get it all underway when we come back to the streets of Adelaide. Well, the V8 Utes are on their warm-up lap for the opening race of 2014. 9 laps around the Adelaide Street Circuit. David Cedars and Chris Walton will start from the front row. The Fords have locked out positions 1 and 2. The reigning champ, Ryle Harris, in car number 1 will start from 4th on the grid. Will be on board Century Batteries in car with Jeremy Gray, one of the veterans of the V8 Ute racing category. He's in the worst place, Murph. He's in the middle of the field.
I don't know if there's any good place, and sometimes in a Ute race, these guys, as we know, Entertainment Plus, Craig Dontis there, Thirsty Camel Bottle Shops, Commodore, always a great campaigner in this class, been around for a while too, so he's starting from a pretty good spot near the front.
And he's one of the locals. Plenty of South Australians who are running this weekend. Practice yesterday for the V8 Utes, and this is, we lost 2 cars, and it was quite amazing stuff. Cam Wilson and Jordan Skinner, they're the 2 that won't take part for the rest of the weekend. Yeah, this is why, and you know about this stuff.
This is brutal, absolutely brutal. Look at that. That Falcon was bent in half. Look at the damage. The tray has literally come off the car. And we can see
Jordan Skinner makes a late decision to
very
pit,
late,
and he's almost stopped.
Wilson had lost the car pretty much before as he came off the curb.
And Cam Wilson was in that big crash on the Gold Coast late last year, and it put him out for a couple of months because he was trying to do a 24-hour go-kart record, which he finally got to do a few months later. But now they've junked another car at Williams Racetech. That's 3 in 12 months for that team, which runs 7 Utes in this series. They're down to 6 this weekend.
Not the kind of record that you want to be the leader of, I don't think, Aaron.
We should point out too, Murph, that a former champ is back in Grant Johnson, 2-time series champ, the Western Australian. He's swapped, though, from a Holden to a Ford. He's in the number 47 car. He's a bit further back on the grid, tail of the top 10, car 47, position number 7. So, opening race of the season, the V8 Utes will be back with the V8 Supercars all season. We have so much fun with this. These guys turn it on. They really do it. Cedars to the left, Chris Walton to the right, the former Rookie of the Year award winner, a guy who has been pretty pacey around these streets of Adelaide in the past. We're underway. Look at Ryle Harris, car number 1, goes to the grass down the inside. But
I think he missed a gear, actually. He was on the run up the inside and then slowed Dontis into second. So far, they are through 1, 2. Couple taking a bit of a shortcut. It's not over yet. That's right.
I think they've made it all through okay. There's Harris lunging Jesse Dixon.
Nose to tail.
Made it through.
Yeah, a bit of concertina there into 4. Over the bumps, you see the Utes moving around very wide. Well, so far, so good. No one's facing the wrong direction. That's a pretty good start.
You've gone early, Greg.
I have gone early.
Way too early.
It's a short race.
On board with Jeremy Gray, trying to find some room, trying to get a bit of rhythm going and really rip into things. Wayne Wakefield up in front there. So it's Cedars who leads. Craig Dontis are on board with his second. Chris Walton moved back to 3rd, then Harris. This is turn 8. Doesn't matter what category. It's fast. And look at this. Walton locks the left front. Last year proved not afraid to use the bumper, but he's got all the track, all the suspension there because he's out wide. And Ryle Harris in that number 1 car is right on the back of him. Adam Marjoram next up in the Auto 1 Commodore. But back into the race course, Cedars is starting to clear away.
Yeah, great start there from the front row. You say Dontis got away from second row nicely into second. These guys so far, number 1 Ryle Harris still in 4th. It is busy around the streets of Adelaide. Just a fantastic racetrack. Very fortunate to have it, and these guys putting on the show for the big crowd that's in here today, Friday, at the Tips of 500.
They rip it through that centre chicane, and the first lap of a new season is now in the books. Cedars a second down the road. This is the guy who's not won the title. He's won a lot of races, he won a lot of rounds, but he hasn't been able to get it done. He's been the bridesmaid on plenty of occasions. Riding on board with Jeremy Gray, looking back at Wayne Wakefield. John Wood is next in the queue. That's right in the middle of this pack.
And the guy that was on pole at the end of qualifying, got his time take off, Nathan Pretty, still back in the pack, has not managed to make any movement forward at all at the stage, running in 13th position. So a big mix-up on the grid, as we said earlier. A few of these guys who were a bit faster, had some faster times, being put back. Oh!
Marjorum's in the fence. Jesse Dixon hits as well.
That was quite a whack of the fence, and Jesse Dixon followed him in 2 in a row.
Oh, Walton gets into Dontis. And look who's down the inside. Harris will get a spot. It started.
It's on, all the fresh paint. It's not fresh anymore. Dontis using all the road at the exit, right up against the wall. That was a sizable hit there through turn 8. Obviously, we see a fair bit of that at this racetrack. Famous corner.
This is on board with Elliot Barber in the Just Car Insurance Commodore. He was a Ford man last year. He's changed teams and changed manufacturers, and he's just behind Ryan Hansford, who's done the same. He's gone from Ford to Holden.
No loyalty, mate. No loyalty.
No, not like you.
No loyalty.
Your blood's red, isn't it?
It always has been.
Also, Marjorum's gone to the pits in that Auto 1 car. No surprise there. It's pretty badly out of alignment after that whack into the wall at turn 8. But Jesse Dixon has stayed on the road. There he is, just at the top of shot in the white and blue Heyman Reese Commodore, which is run this year by Image Racing, Terry Wahoon's team, who run in the Dunlop Series. So keep him very busy. Cedars, though, he's getting away. He's building margin while these guys really start to fight with one another. Let's have a look at this again, Murph.
Oh, just a little wide.
Oh, that was Jeremy McLeod.
Yeah, that was
after the wall was already moved.
So we've had quite a few cars on that one lap just use a little bit more road. You can see the kink in the wall. And then another one.
Plenty of debris bouncing.
Lots of debris flying down out of turn 8. You see it again. There's the first one, the second one. One more. So the boys pushing hard. You can see the kink in the wall, that concrete moving a few inches. Luckily, just minor damage this time through.
Back with Elliot Barber, running position number 11 at the moment. We've seen him in the Dunlop Series a couple of years ago. V8 Utes last year was the Rookie of the Year. There's Danny Bazadzik in the Western General Bodyworks Ford, and he's got dramas because he's going slowly and he's half off the road. So that's a shame. That car's run by the high-tech team that are looking after Grant Johnson. Fastest man on the track is Chris Walton. Tell you what, Kim Jane here is 17th. He started at the back.
He was dead last.
Yeah, engine problems yesterday. They've had all sorts of dramas, but he's hooked up and pretty speedy here. So he's nearly past half of the field within, what, 3.5 laps. He's moving forward. David Cedars continues to lead the way. We're off and rolling. The V8 Utes on the streets of Adelaide. More in just a moment. Back on the streets of Adelaide, and you rejoin us at a very good time. There are moves being made in the mid-pack, Greg Murphy, and it's Elliot Barber down the inside, showing no respect for the returning former champ, Grant Johnson.
No, the young boy, Elliot Barber, drives really, really well. It's good to see him in here and pushing hard, showing some of these guys how it's done. Nathan Pretty has been following him through. He's been letting Barber do all the work, making a few gaps for him.
Close.
As Pretty looks up the inside, he's probably going to get a decent run, but he's on the long side. We'll see how the drag races down the front straight here at the Adelaide Street Circuit. Barber has got a little bit of a gap. Pretty breaks very late. gets that advantage he needs. Oh, Dontas!
Look at this. This is for second spot.
This is on, and look behind him. He's going to fill the gap.
Chris Walton's in, but he's on the wrong side.
He's on the wrong side. This is all on. Dontas just seems to be holding these guys up a fraction, squeezing each other's great footage out the back of the Thirsty Camel. Coming with the two Falcons side by side, using every single bit of asphalt and curbing.
As much as this is great, we're loving it, but David Cedars loves it more because he's leading, and this is letting him get away. Margin is now 3.8 seconds. He can cruise it home from here. He
can cruise it home, but you don't want to cruise too much around this place. Look how close those boys are to the wall. Rollhouse using every single inch through 8, and we've already seen a couple of guys rearrange the sides of their utes through there, but Dontas doing a good job. He is working really hard to keep these two guys behind him, but he has been around a while. He knows what to do. Look at it, sideways.
That's the margin to the leader. Cedars is out front behind this group. That's Andrew Fisher with the lights on in P5. George Medici 6. George coming back to V8 Utes this year after a couple of years in the Dunlop Series. So
it's good to see him back in here, but it's a shame that he wasn't able to continue in there. He's doing very well in the Dunlop Series.
This is Barber on Jesse Dixon.
So he's still moving forward.
Could we say that Barber? Could we say that Barber's given Dixon the short back and sides?
Oh, I don't know about that. I'm not sure, but you know, Rubbin's racing here. Aaron, Rubbin's racing.
I was going for a hairdressing Barber line, but
I missed that completely. We've missed that completely. We've got to talk more before we go on.
We're still in off-season mode, aren't we? We're just trying to get back up to speed. Have a look at the background there. Ryan Hansford trying to defend from the break-locked Wayne Wakefield, who made it around the corner. Just Car Insurance on board for Elliot Barber this year. We've seen them on a Monaro with a Murph at the mountain.
Cool, that was a while ago.
That was a little while back.
But there's our leader. He is very comfortable. Things haven't changed too much behind. The action has calmed down slightly for now, but it is not over yet. I love this corner. It is one of the best corners in Australian motorsport. We talk about it a lot. It's received a bit of bad press over the years, but it still is a challenge in it and very entertaining.
Okay, Nathan Pretty there. That's P10. This is 11th with Hansford and Wakefield. Grant Johnson behind with Jeremy Gray. Wakefield down the inside. This is the ex-Ryan Hansford car from last year, and the former V8 supercar racer gets it done. Actually had a Clipsal 500 run here back in the day, 2000 from memory, from what was then the Konica series, when if you were top 4 in the series after the first round, you got to go in the Clipsal 500. Seems like yesterday, but it's actually 14 years ago.
That is history. Only you would remember that, Mr. Sleuth.
True. Good fight in the mid-pack here. And as much as David Cedars is dominating out front, you really just can look anywhere in the field in the Utes and you'll get a fight, you'll get a scrap, you'll get a dice. There'll be something entertaining going on.
Well, it's very easy to lose time in this kind of class where you say there is a scrap going on all the way up. Harris,
he's got it this time.
He's got him done. Well done under brakes into the very bumpy turn 4 behind. Walton decides to go off all by himself in the background, trying to benefit from it. So Dontas finally has to give up that second place spot. Drops back into 3rd. And as I said, he's been fighting really, really hard since the beginning of the race just to hold on to that position. We'll see if he can hang on to the finish and hold this one and not give another spot away.
And Ryle Harris in that #1 car, the all-purpose pest racing car. You'll see on the windscreens, all the drivers in Utes, it's one of the unique parts, they've got a nickname. His this year's changed. He's been the kid in the past. He's now the pest. Well, he's the pest because he's won the last 2 championships. He's trying to become the first guy.
So he didn't come up with that. I'm sure everyone else did.
I think he got given that one. Yeah. He's trying to be the first guy to win 3 V8 Ute championships, and to win them in a row would be quite amazing.
Effort. Yeah, big effort. I mean, it is a tough class. Obviously, experience does count in something like this. I mean, they're quite unique to drive, and you've got to drive them a certain way to get the best out of them. But, you know, so much can happen in this season, as we've seen. So to have 2 and be going for 3 is a huge achievement.
And Ryle's done a lot of winning in the last few years, but he's never won a round on the streets of Adelaide. It's not been too kind to him in the last couple of years. He's had a pole here before, but we're on our way home. Final lap of the first race of the season, and David Cedars has a 3.1 second margin back to Harris, Dontas, Walton. There is Andrew Fisher, George Medici, Wake Up Commodore in car number 88. Then Reece McNally, who is back in the Stratco car this year. He was the quiet achiever last year, the young Western Australian. He swapped his car to the Cedars team for this year, but he's the only Commodore with 3 Falcons. It's like being 3 brothers and 1 sister in a family, really. It's all outnumbered.
Barber's doing well, though. He's come from way back in the field to be up in 8th position, still sitting in 10th. Hasn't probably moved forward anywhere near as much as he would have hoped after having the speed in qualifying. Great slow-mo.
Auto 1 replay, and this is Andrew Fisher with slightly revised look this year, a little bit more gunmetal grey than black on the Jesus Ford. But his teammate, another of the Cedars Racing Team cars with David Cedars on board, is out in front. He's won here on the streets of Adelaide before.
And he's cruising home. He really is. He's backed it off.
Exactly. No need to do anything silly here in the Mindsight Ford. Bring it on home and bank 35 championship points. He's already banked 35 for having pole. They give championship points for qualifying in Utes, which I don't really mind. I think it's a good thing, but he's going to have a little bit of fun for this run to the checkered flag.
Don't have too much. You don't want to end up throwing it away.
Well, he's nicknamed Sideways.
There you go.
Final turn, sideways.
He's actually in the car. I can't even see a helmet in there.
He is there. He has pedalled it very nicely. So, first race of the season on the streets of Adelaide for the V8 Ute Series. And it's David Cedars who starts that championship campaign in style. The reigning champ, Ryle Harris, is home in 2nd spot. And it's first blood to Ford.
Yep, first blood to them. As we say, a bit of a mix-up from qualifying. So, race 2 will sort itself out, I'm sure. But a great result there for David.
Craig Donis was right among it too. Thirsty Camel Commodore in 3rd from Walton and Fisher. Elliot Barber, Jesse Dixon and Nathan Pretty got his way into the top 10. So that's the first race of the year for the Utes.